Okay, so NASA's Explorer 1, like the farthest thing we've ever sent into space, is still sending back data. Even though we don't really know what's out there, we can still measure it. This old space probe, launched like ages ago, sent back a message that got everyone talking. After traveling super far, it seems Explorer 1 found something that made it turn around and head back towards Earth. Some people think it might be alien life, something weird, or who knows what. This is a big deal because records suggest that if things hadn't lined up just right, these rockets might not have even made it off the ground. Basically, the 4 biggest planets lined up in a certain way around 60 years ago, something that hadn't happened since the 1800s. A student named Gary Flandreau figured out that this was important for space travel. He realized that in the late 70s and early 80s, the planets would be aligned in a way that a spacecraft could visit them all on one trip, using their gravity to slingshot itself to the next planet, speeding things up. Flandreau figured this could cut the travel time to Neptune from 30 years to just 12. But this alignment only happens every 176 years, so NASA had to act fast. They built Explorer 1 and Explorer 2 to take advantage of this rare chance. These spacecraft went on a cool mission to check out the outer planets. Thanks to the planet alignment and Flandreau's ideas, Explorer 1 and 2 launched in 1977. Explorer 1 took off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on a big rocket. Explorer 2 launched a couple of weeks later. Their goal was to study the gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, along with their moons. These probes went beyond everyone's expectations, going farther than any other spacecraft and even entering interstellar space, which is like totally unknown. Now, they're super far away, but they're still surprising scientists with what they find. They just made a discovery that has everyone buzzing. Years ago, they checked out Jupiter and Saturn's moons, which scientists thought were boring. Turns out, they were actually pretty interesting. Explorer 1 was the first one to swing by Uranus in 1986, and then Neptune a few years later. To keep these spacecraft going, NASA turned off some stuff to save power, hoping to keep them running until at least 2025. The scientists and engineers are really excited because just when they thought the mission was ending, something crazy happened out in space. Back at the start of their mission, the explorers gave us the first close-up views of Jupiter and Saturn's moons. These moons, which everyone thought were dull, turned out to be pretty cool. Explorer 1 got to Jupiter in 1979. They had special cameras that took full-color photos and sent back tons of information. For example, Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, has this icy surface that's super thick. When the spacecraft left Jupiter, it got a speed boost from a gravity slingshot, which helped it get closer to interstellar space. At Saturn, Explorer 1 went through the rings, dodging dust particles, and then flew by Titan, a moon with an orange haze. Explorer 2 went on to Uranus and Neptune. When it visited Uranus, it found 10 new moons and added Uranus to the list of planets with rings. But there was a tragedy. The Challenger space shuttle exploded, killing everyone on board. Later, when Explorer 2 flew over Neptune, it found the fastest winds ever recorded on a planet. Neptune's moon, Triton, turned out to be one of the coldest places in the solar system, with frozen volcanoes that shot nitrogen gas into the air. After the Neptune pictures, the plan was to shut down the cameras. But Carl Sagan, an astronomer, stepped in. NASA extended the mission, hoping the explorers would make it to interstellar space. It was renamed the Explorer Interstellar Project. Explorer 1 reached interstellar space in 2012. The spacecraft found a strong solar flare between April and May 2013, which meant the spacecraft had entered a region of higher particle density than that found within the heliosphere. In other words, it had broken through the sun's protective bubble. Scientists figured out the exact date Explorer 1 made it to the spacecraft as August 25, 2012. Ed Stone, who was involved with the Explorer missions from the start, said this achievement helped us learn more about energy and radiation in space. Explorer 2 also crossed into interstellar space eventually. Now, it turns out Explorer 1 has made a crazy new discovery. Even though it's super far away, it's still sending back information. Something weird happened. It started sending data about an anomaly in its path. The data hints that there's a huge object out there that we didn't know about, and it's pulling on the spacecraft with its gravity, distorting the spacecraft's trajectory. This has everyone scratching their heads. Is it a rogue planet? A black hole? Something else entirely? If it's real, it could change how we understand the universe. NASA put together a team to look into it, using all the data they have and maybe even redirecting Explorer 1 to get more info. Explorer 1 uses radioisotope thermoelectric generators to make power, which were supposed to last maybe 12 years. It's still going after 45. NASA figures that by 2025, it might not have enough power to keep going. During a normal check-in, NASA's computers started getting a strange signal from Explorer 1. For the first time ever, it stopped and turned around completely. No one knows why this happened. NASA is working hard to figure it out. One idea is that the spacecraft ran into some unknown force in space, maybe something related to the gravity of a massive object we can't see. If it's a rogue planet, black hole, or even dark matter, it would raise a lot of questions about the universe. The fact that Explorer 1 is still working after all this time is awesome. NASA is doing everything they can to understand what's going on. They might even redirect Explorer 1 to get a better look at this object. The crazy part is we're seeing all of this from super far away. As Explorer 1 sends back data, we're watching history happen in real time. It's a reminder of how much we don't know and how we're always trying to learn more. Even if we don't know what's going to happen, this discovery is a big deal. If the spacecraft really did get pulled off course by an unknown object, it could change how we think about space, gravity, and the universe. Scientists are hoping that this will lead to new research and discoveries. The future of space exploration is exciting, and thanks to missions like Explorer 1, we're reaching farther than ever before. We'll keep pushing the boundaries of what we know. He figured out these planets would line up so that with one mission, a spacecraft could use each planet's gravity to zoom to the next, cutting down travel time. Instead of 30 years to Neptune, it would only take 12. The tricky part? This only happened every 176 years. So NASA built Explorer 1 and 2 to grab this chance. These spacecraft were sent to check out the solar system's outer planets. Gary Flandreau's calculations made it all possible. Explorer 1 launched from Cape Canaveral on September 5, 1977, on a Titan III rocket. Explorer 2 followed a few weeks later. Their main thing was to check out the gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn and their moons. But they went further than anyone thought, breaking records by going past stuff made by humans, even into interstellar space. These spacecraft are now super far away, but still surprise scientists with what they find. Recently, they found something really crazy. They checked out Jupiter and Saturn's moons and found they weren't boring like our moon, but interesting places. Explorer 1 was the first to swing by Uranus in '86, and then Neptune a few years later. To keep them going, NASA turned off some stuff to save power, hoping they last until 2025. The people who worked on this are super proud, and just when they thought the mission was done, a shocking thing happened way out in space. The Explorer spacecraft gave us close-up views of Jupiter and Saturn's moons, which turned out to be wild places. Explorer 1 got to Jupiter in '79. Each spacecraft had cameras that took clear, full-color pictures. They took tons of photos of Jupiter and its moons, showing all sorts of cool things. Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, had a cracked, icy surface. As the spacecraft left Jupiter, they got a speed boost from the planet's gravity, pushing them closer to interstellar space. At Saturn, the explorers split up. Explorer 1 went through Saturn's rings, and Explorer 2 went on to Uranus and Neptune. Explorer 2 found 10 new moons at Uranus. But soon after Explorer 2 reached Uranus, the Challenger exploded, which was awful and sad. Years later, Explorer 2 flew over Neptune and found crazy fast winds. Neptune's moon, Triton, was super cold and had frozen volcanoes. After the Neptune pictures, the cameras were supposed to shut down. But Carl Sagan stepped in, and NASA kept the mission going, calling it the Explorer Interstellar Project. Explorer 1 went into interstellar space in 2012. A study came out the next year sharing the news. The spacecraft found a strong solar flare, meaning Explorer 1 was in a place with more particles. Scientists say the electron density is higher in interstellar space than near the Sun. Analyzing the data, they pinpointed when Explorer 1 entered interstellar space to August 25, 2012. The team was thrilled. Ed Stone said Explorer 1 led to new and important discoveries. Explorer 2 went to interstellar space in 2018. But the coolest thing is from Explorer 1. It's been 46 years and it's still sending useful stuff back, even though it's super far away. Here's the interesting part. Explorer 1 found something wild, leaving scientists puzzled and worried. As Explorer 1 cruised through space, it started sending data showing something weird in its path. The data suggested a huge, hidden object with crazy gravity was messing with the spacecraft's course. This has shaken up the science world. Is it a rogue planet? A black hole? Something else? If this is real, it could change how we understand the universe. NASA's pulled together a team to check it out, throwing everything they have to analyze the data and maybe redirect Explorer 1 for more info. This twist reminds us how many mysteries are out there. Explorer 1 had radioisotope thermoelectric generators that were meant to last 4 to 12 years. But it's been going for 45. NASA figures by 2025, it might not have the juice to keep going. During a normal check-in with Explorer 1, NASA's computers got a weird signal. For the first time, Explorer 1 stopped and did a complete U-turn. What made it do that? Experts are scratching their heads. NASA's team is working hard to figure out what's up. One idea is that the spacecraft ran into some force in space that no one knew about. Some think it could be the gravity of a massive, unseen object. If this object is a rogue planet, black hole, or dark matter thing, it raises huge questions about the universe. The fact that Explorer 1 still works after all this time just makes it more amazing. NASA is on it with a special team looking at every bit of data, hoping to figure out what's going on. They might even redirect Explorer 1 to get more info on this weird thing. If the spacecraft can keep going toward this mystery object, it could be one of the biggest finds ever. We're seeing this from over 14 billion miles away. As it sends back data, we're watching history in real time. It's a testament to our desire to understand the universe. Even if we don't know what's next for Explorer 1, this discovery is a big deal. If the spacecraft's weird turn is caused by an unknown object, it could change how we see space, gravity, and the whole universe. Scientists are hoping this twist will lead to new research and discoveries that change our view of everything. The future of space travel is full of possibilities, and thanks to missions like Explorer 1, we keep going further. Each new discovery pulls us forward, closer to figuring out the deepest mysteries. Whether this mystery gets solved or raises even more questions, our quest for knowledge will keep pushing us.